Afternoon, y'all. Yes, it was a short day. Yes, we have fear of rain. Yes, we have tails from a hurricane approaching. We'll see what fresh hell awaits this evening and tomorrow morning. I ran across a dude. Apparently he's relatively famous. He's, done quite well for himself, considering I woke up to his Who Am I video. And I looked and I was like, who are you? Because I let YouTube play, and if it cues something, I'm asleep. I don't know what the fuck I watch. 9 times out of 10. So, I woke up to this individual. I guess his name is Marcus. And his significant other is Kara. And they're both beautiful people. Absolutely beautiful. Well, I found it fascinating. Because the other day I was sitting there talking about raw food diets. And I am not a big fan of raw food diet. I like cow, but they're vegan, and she has got the most amazing skinny body. Now, she's very, very thin, but she's tone thin. Okay, she's not anorexic thin. However, she's small enough to be anorexic thin, but she's toned thin. She's not cellulite thin. She's not weird, bony thin. She's fit, And so, now I'm kind of fascinated. What the fuck are these two vegans, raw food vegans, eating? Now, apparently, I guess she used to be a restaurant owner, and she catered to the vegan community with the raw food thing, idea for years and years, like 30 years or something. And magically, I'm discovering them now, and they are both in their 60s. They don't look a day over 30, if not younger, from my perspective. Now, I don't know exactly what this raw food thing does. However, these two are probably the first that I've ever come across who gives me a different perspective on things. And it's fascinating. I mean, some of the cooking ideas, given that I'm even I do like ketovore, and every now and then I cheat. However, I think they would have an amazing dialogue, because the way that they plan their diets and the way that she constructs her diet and her food intake is quite literally scientific. She incorporates everything that she needs on a nutritional level, which I was like, that's like mastery. I know when I did the vegetarian type of thing, I wasn't real versed in all of the different types of vegetables and what they all provided as far as nutrition and whatnot. So she made a salad earlier, and I'll tell you, that fucking thing looked good. I was like, I could jam out on that, And it had chickpeas in it, and everything was raw. All she did was soak them for like however many fucking days, kind of thing. And I'm like, how did she get her chickpeas and her lentils to get softened up just by soaking them? Because I soak my kidney beans probably 24 hours or more before I cook them for like chili, and they're still crunchy. and I don't like that. I want them mushy as fuck, right? Anyway, so it's like, how did she do that? I'm wondering, did she add, like, baking soda or something to the water, and she forgot to mention that? I have no idea. Anyway, it put things into a different perspective as far as the raw food diet and how creative and how versatile some of the little techniques are that she uses in order to omit certain ingredients. Now, I know vegans, I know they, do tofu and they do legume and things like that, but the raw food perspective, I don't know if I'd necessarily like it, but I like the way these two think. And they have very similar concepts in regard to certain things, respectfully the same as someone who is a keto carnivore or vegan. And vegans or vegetarian. The vegetarian are bread eaters. Raw foods are not bread eaters. So it's one perspective, and on the opposite end of what my perspective is. But the one thing that they agree on is the no wheat, no grain type of. Now she had this black, it was long grain, like a wild type of rice that she was eating. I need to look in the show notes and see if they actually, mention it or something. But it was basically showing what she eats in a day. And he was also showing what he ate in a day, as far as what their individual diets are like. And I was just, it blew my mind. It's fascinating. It's a new take on things. It's a new twist on things. A lot of different techniques to, like, say, for example, if you're lactose intolerant, she makes a cream type of sauce using cashews. I thought that was really neat. Learning that's different. So for people who are lactose intolerant, they might want to adapt that kind of concept. If you do keto and you want she did a cashew cream ice cream type of thing. I was like, that's fucking cool too. That's creative. That's pretty damn ingenuitive. And I mean, as far as taste goes, God, I have fucking no idea. I'm pretty sensitive as far as taste goes. But she's been doing this type of cooking for like 30 years under a restaurant setting even. She was the owner of the restaurant. And they have a cookbook and everything out. But I found it fascinating. And then when I Googled around after I saw his Who Am I kind of thing, doing his little biography and how he's worn different hats in different settings and whatnot, different, occupations, completely night and day type of thing. He's kind of like a polymath. The thing that fascinated me the most when I started Googling around and looking at some of his content, the one thing that I ran across was his gallbladder and thyroid thing. That was brilliant. Now he's not a doctor, I don't think. However, everything that he was talking about makes absolute perfect freaking sense on the biological perspective, on the scientific perspective. Now, I truly believe that God, we've come this far in the medical field. Why can't we genotype individuals? Because obviously that raw food type of lifestyle works for them. And they look very healthy. They're like little dingy, but they're Californian. You know, it's kind of they have a dialect out there. Like everything's like surfer hippie type of, you know, positivity, you know, birds, butterflies, everything's beautiful and rainbows. You know, it's just that's their attitude toward life, and they seem like really good, nice, you know, charming people. And they do this raw food, and I found it fascinating how creative she was in her concoctions. And there's other people that I know of, like epileptic type of situations where the person has an autoimmune condition, and I'm not certain that a raw food diet would do well with that type of issue, because it's triggered by carbohydrate, and it doesn't matter where the carbohydrates come from. It's a sugar-based type of thing. Now, these two people, they look very healthy. I'm really curious to see what their blood work looks like, and what if they were to get coronary artery calcium scores, and or, you know, all of the different testings that we ketovores and carnivores get to debunk the system. I'm wondering if their blood work and their health would look just as promising. I mean, these people, they are 60 years old and they look young as fuck. It's like they have like somehow debunked how to age, you know. They're like, they figured it out, how to stay young forever. They've got the immortality going on. Kind of jealous, because they look good. Anyway, so I was kind of entertaining that side of the perspective of, you know, the nutritional values of everything that they, you know, eat, and how they create their meals and things like that. And she is very talented as far as a raw food, you know, chef. That woman got skills. I'm impressed. However, probably not my cup of tea. She's probably grown a taste for a lot of this stuff. And his thing when he was talking about this morning on that one video, I saved it, and I saved the other one too, where she was showing that salad. I'd really like to try that, because that looks freaking good. And it's all scientifically based. Everything that he was saying made sense in accordance to what I know of the biology. Now, the one thing that both dietary, you know, gurus agree on, opposite ends of the spectrum, is no grain product. No grains. Now, she's raw food and she does the legume thing. I don't know how she gets them soft. And she's got skills somewhere. But says she doesn't cook them, she just soaks them. I'm curious. But even if I didn't do raw food, if I followed the directions and I did, you know, use canned chickpeas, whatever, nutritionally, what she created looked so yummy. It sounded so yummy. It's like, God, I could almost taste it through the damn screen of the phone. It's like that. And when she made the cashew cream dressing type of thing, I was like, that is absolutely ingenious. And my daughter is lactose intolerant, so I entertain a lot of varying different diets and whatnot based upon the diversity of, you know, everybody's different issues. You know, you have epilepsy and you need to be on a full carnivore diet. You could have, you know, autoimmune conditions where you need to be on a full carnivore diet. And you could have just, metabolic issues like Hashimoto's, and you can be on a ketovore or Mediterranean, plant-based, no bread diet kind of thing. Everybody's gene markers and diversity, I think, is what dictates their diet. I don't think it's ancestral at all, because genes mutate. And I'm thinking, God, in the medical field, why don't they gene map people and be like, okay, here's what you can eat. This is how you can eat. Don't try to do this, because if you do this, it's going to make you sick. Just like animals, you got different animals. Some animals are vegetarian animals. Other animals, are, carnivorous animals. We got plants that eat bugs. Everybody's fucking different. So there's no shade in, someone wanting to be a vegetarian, someone wanting to be a vegan, or they're doing it because they love animals, but then it turns out that their bodies are not designed to be a vegetarian like this couple's bodies are. They're beautiful. And they look extraordinarily healthy. I wouldn't be able to do that kind of diet. I don't know. It would probably, my hypoglycemia would, freak out. But somebody else, it might be better suited for them. Maybe they're not a carnivore type of person. Maybe they, would be better suited genetically for a raw food type of diet. And it's all organic and everything. I mean, these people are brilliant. I just thought it was fascinating. I thought it was a great comparison. But I also liked the whole idea where they did not particularly approve of the bread, crackers, cookies, cupcakes. Even though it's non-animal, you can find vegan donuts. It's not healthy. And so both sides of the spectrum agree on that particular thing. And they're not they're not big sweet tooths. They do fruit, but they're not cookie people. Vegan cookies or vegetarian cookies and shit like that. No, she makes a cookie dough out of nut butters. It was actually fascinating. I was like, that is so cool. So, yes, they have their own little world. But, yeah. So, food for thought. I'm going to pin the videos down below. I was quite intrigued. And I like what they put out. And I subscribed because I thought it was kind of neat. I like knowing both sides of the spectrum. And I do. I like being, in all fairness, not everybody's the same. You got to go through life and learn what you can eat and what you can't eat, and allergies and, chemicals and all this other shit. Yeah, I think they got a good beat on things, and I'm impressed. Her cooking is very creative. Might want to take a gander. If you're bored with what you're doing now, yeah. A lot of people get bored. They just change it up for a while. That's what I do. So, peace.